Yo, all right, I'm doing it down here today because fuck you, what are you asking questions for? You're the police. Cheers for tuning in. We're going to have a quick little look at what you guys are saying. I'll give you my thoughts on how the game went as well. Oh my God, OMG, as the kids say. Bruno's getting some shit, isn't he? Oh my days. Probably by some fucking absolute spanners that don't understand football. But we'll talk about that. So, Bruno Fernandes, 66% possession, pass completion, lost the ball 27 times. Jesus Christ, they string him up. Yeah, that's what the Twitter's saying. Fails to mention Cancelo was absolutely fucking belting for City today. Lost the ball 33 times. Who'd have thunk it? Also, one of the sort of opinions on it is you failed to mention that when they have the ball, they tend to make better decisions 5,000 times better than Bruno, says Zane on my Twitter here. They don't run around like headless chickens and they don't lose it as poorly as Bruno. Don't compare them. All right. Well, let's have a look, shall we? Because I think Bruno's being a bit harshly done. I think he has been shit, to be fair. I think he was shit tonight. I think he's had a bit of a poor season. But 45 goals, 34 assists in 102 Manchester United games. I think he needs a little bit more fucking respect, if I'm being honest with you. That's production. A serious production from a midfielder. He's a very attacking midfielder, but a serious production. Now, I think there was poor games. I think Marcus Rashford's game was awful, to be honest with you. I thought he was really just like hitting a different beat. Decision making not quite there. Touch not quite there. Finishing certainly wasn't there. I don't know if it's a match sharpness thing. Don't know if it's a adaptation to a new system. I can't imagine it is because I think his style of play really suits Ralph Rangnick, to be honest. And Declan says that's not an excuse for how shit he was tonight. No one said it was an excuse. Literally just pointing out some facts for you. If you don't like facts, go fuck yourself. Yeah, I think Marcus has been poor all season. I don't think he's not just been poor tonight. I think he's been poor all season. I don't think Bruno's been at the races this season. Partially the reason why Ole ended up losing his job. I'm not sure Ronaldo was great today, but he put the ball in the back of the net. Ultimately, we come away with 3 points and a clean sheet. The two people who arguably were good in the United shirt today, hilariously, was Fred and McTominay. And I know people have already kind of made their mind up about that, but it was the case. I thought Sancho was very ordinary when he got on the ball. I thought he was making some good runs, but the final ball wasn't there from him. I thought Rashford was poor. I thought Ronaldo was poor. I thought Bruno was poor. Fred and McTominay, the only two that can really come away. Harry Maguire, not terrible. Again, people have already made their mind up on him, so you're not allowed to say that. Actually, talking about outfielders, the one player, the rightful man of the match, was David De Gea. Without David De Gea, we lose 2-0, 2-1 comfortably tonight. We were... I would say they had better chances than we did. I remember Dave making more difficult saves than we had Tim Krul, mate. In the comments there, Big Wengs says 80 million for not terrible isn't good enough. Totally agree on that. Norwich, worst team in the Premier League, says Joe. Yeah, and you know what? They've obviously just got rid of the manager. They've gone on a decent run of form. Then they got absolutely smacked about by Tottenham last week. They've had a couple of players come down with COVID, and I think a couple of staff members as well, if I remember rightly. And I think Dean Smith took them into that game today with the intention of absolutely locking the tank and just completely denying United any space. They didn't even cross the halfway line as a back four and a back six. We saw it with that series of corners that they had, back-to-back corners, where United was breaking. United broke with serious directness and pace and ran into 6 and 7 Norwich players because they were just there waiting. Like, yeah, how are you going to do? Maguire was mint today, says Oliver Edwards. I don't know about mint. Gary Neville said we won because of Norwich had a lack of quality in them chances. I think we won because David De Gea had some serious quality in his hands. Both of those saves that he made, and I know you know which ones I'm talking about, both of those could easily have been goals. Easily have been goals. We were below average at best today, but we got a win, and that's what counts, says Mank Mike. Yeah, Ultimately, it is. Garinova's a twat, says Kevin Fitz. Brutal. He's going to run for Prime Minister, isn't he? Do you think? Anyone else looking at Gary Neville Twitter at the minute and just going, fuck me? He's definitely going to be like the new leader of the Labour Party, isn't he? You can see it. You can smell it. How do you fix Bruno's form? I don't know, to be honest. I think you almost need to fundamentally break him down as a player. Do you know what I'm going to do, actually? I'm going to have a look at it this week. I haven't got time tonight, but I am going to have a look at it this week. See where Bruno's average position is and how it differs from when we play 4-2-3-1 to how he now sits in this system. It takes a couple of hours for the data to come through from Opta for able to have a look. But I wonder if it's a little bit on his positioning. His positioning was literally like a false 9 almost, and very, very high at times when he played as the number 10. It'd be really interesting to see where he's moved under this new system, because in theory he should be holding a lot more rigid position in what is quite a rigid system. I don't know if you guys saw this or if you've got any thoughts on this. If you have, let me know in the comments and we can have a chat about it. Sounds like a good one for Maram, that, says Betty Swallocks. Yeah, I'd agree with you on that one. I think that would be a good one for Maram, is to sort of compare Bruno, very small sample size, I know, but compare him and the position around him to where he has been past previous seasons. But I noticed this when opposition are playing out, and Norwich aren't the ideal sort of test case for this, but when the opposition are playing out, the shape that United makes, almost like a hexagon of our forward six, I think it lacks depth. Like, I like to see players that are on differing lines to sort of preempt and break up the play, and it looked like Fred moved out of position a little bit and like Bruno got dragged over to one side. It didn't look planned out, did it? Do you know what I mean? Or not? Am I talking a load of old arse? Have a look at it. Have a look at when they were playing out and see what you think. It's not the Rona, by the way. I got my test back. Just regular old lurgy. Ross says back-to-back clean sheets for the first time since March. Great positive. One of the few, I would say, one of the very, very few positives. Shit, scrappy game. Actually respect them for not sitting back the entire game and having a go. CR7 sees Rash wear the number 10 and wishes Rooney was still playing. Why is Rashford so weak? Do you think he's weak? Inspector Woke says, I've got the Rona. Unlucky, mate. They just echoed what you said then on Sky Sports. Which bit? Fuck me, they just hire me, don't they? Cavani will wreak havoc under this system. I think that there's a very real chance that when Cavani comes in, Rashford could find himself on the bench. I think at the moment, when you look at this team, there's a little bit of a lack of pace in that front line, and I think that's the reason why Rashford's being picked through his poor form. I think if Cavani's available, I do think he would. He will get the old curly finger, and I think Cavani. Why doesn't he play much? He's so frustrating because he's been absolutely fucking class. Am I going for a few pints? No, I'll be going for a rock and roll, pick my daughter up from my mum's and get an early night kind of Saturday night. Such is life. Availability is the vestability. It is. And he's not very available, is he? Why Ronaldo leaves the striker position and wanders to the left. He contributes nothing to the build-up. He has previously done a lot in the build-up, though, when he does do that. The problem is you have to be playing with other players that are more forward-thinking. Rashford likes to get on the ball deep as well. And actually, when you're playing against a team in a low block, sometimes there's no point your striker just standing with 4 opposition players like completely ringing him and preventing the ball getting anywhere near him. So sometimes that's the one. Steve needs some rum. Yeah, no rum for me today. I'm driving. We didn't hold the shape at all. Am I surprised at how slow Sancho is? Excuse me. No, I think there's a quickness to how he plays, but it isn't necessarily the blistering sort of sprinting that you see from the likes of Marcus. And I actually think he's better between the lines than Marcus. I think Marcus is better off the shoulder than Sancho. Sancho can do that, but I think he is better when he's coming deep and dribbling with it, I think. Subic says, should ditch the 4-2-2 and experiment with 4-3-3. I mean, I'm going to take Ragnick's advice over a random YouTube user. Sorry, I might be wrong, but, you know, that's what I'm going to try and do. Don't really want Cavani to leave. I still think he offers something at Man United. Some talk of him going to Barcelona to link up with what could be like the Louis van Gaal Man United team, isn't it? Januzaj, Memphis. Who else is going there? Tony Marshall. They've really hit rock bottom, haven't they? They are literally doing a Man United 2015 fucking tribute act. This team has no rhythm, no way of playing, and a lot of average players. Worst team in my 20 years of watching United. Did you see David Moyes' team? Or any of when we lost under Jose? Team has no rhythm, no way of playing. I just read that one. Excuse me. Reminded me of Chelsea when Tommy Tickles took over. Am I clutching at straws, playing crap but getting clean sheets? No, you're not, actually. It is very similar. And you got to hope that we can kick into the sort of gear that Chelsea did, where they just started creating chances on an absolute madness. And ended up going winning the Champions League. That would be nice, wasn't it? Dada says the performances on the players, Bruno and Rashford, were off colour today. Front line didn't click. Central midfield department needs more quality. Yeah, do you know what? If I had to sort of summarise what I thought United lacked today, I thought there's a new buzzword in town, and it's control. And I like it. I think it makes a lot of sense in terms of, one, what I think Rangnick's talking about, what he wants, but also I think what we can see as a fan base. So Alex Ferguson had a lot of control. We didn't always have just possession for possession's sake, and Rangnick mentions that he doesn't want to see the goalkeeper just getting fucking loads and loads of passes under his belt, because it's not about that. Manchester United under Sir Alex used to have a lot of control, and we would hold a lot of possession. You would hold it in the opposition half. You see, Vidic and Rio would be pushed right up to the halfway line. The fullbacks would be right into the final third, helping spread a little bit of width. You'd have people penetrating into the box, and United would really start to squeeze and break a team down by having control in their third. And Manchester City do it, and Barcelona have done it, and Bayern Munich have done it, all under Pep Guardiola, but because he does it in loads of pretty little triangles, it's called fucking tic-tac, everyone gets a hard-on for it. But I've seen that style of play at Manchester United. One touch, short pass and move for 20 fucking years. That was how Sir Alex Ferguson's teams played. Now, latterly, we've had all sorts of madness played in. We had David Moyes doing his best, whatever the fuck that was. We had Louis van Gaal, who came in and didn't quite have the dynamism of what Pep does at Manchester City, but it was loads of players in very rigid positions that seemed to knock it around a little bit without actually having... I mean, I've seen so many fucking 0-0s under Louis, it was insane. Like, if my season ticket would have been paid per goal, I think I'd have paid about 1,500 quid for a fucking goal. And then we had Jose come in and he was like... Fellaini, go stand there, we're going to kick balls at you. Dead eye ones. And you're just going to hold it on your chest like it's a bread basket. Under Ole, we sort of had a bit more of an aggressive forward style of play that was reliant on being on the counter a little bit. But there was no control, really. There was no control under Jose, there was no control under Ole, and there was control under Lou. It was just fucking boring and no one was ever going to score a goal. But maybe you have to roll it back almost to that a little bit. Start to get some control in. Start to find those clean sheets. Start to be able to build from the back. Start to confidently push to the halfway line with the ball at your feet. Start to be able to strangle an opponent. And Norwich was going to be tough today. Norwich were going to be tough today because they're going to be difficult to play against because they're fighting for their fucking Premier League lives. It's just one of those, isn't it? Let's see what some of these comments are saying. Ronaldo did well against Krul. Yes. Rashford was shocking today. Yes. Why was Ronaldo coming so deep today? We needed him up there. Probably because he's getting crowded out. I think when you're playing against a team that's in a low block, it's very easy to just get smushed out of the way. And I guess you just want to get your ass up there and get on the ball. Super chat here. Let's have a look at that one. People online seem to think that it's 1 week at the gym will make you buff, but it's a process. I felt we were too ponderous today, like too many square passes. Yeah, I sort of touched on this last week that I felt like it looked like Rangnick had worked on a little bit of what the pressing is and what the pressing triggers are, but then and that worked to a certain extent. But then you came up against Crystal Palace, who were in a low block, and they frustrated us, and it was very difficult for us to get a winner and get over the line. And that sort of happened today. So hopefully as the weeks go on, you might see a different game. Luckily, you've got Brentford coming up, and I expect Brentford are going to go for it. Notch in there says, love to be a fly on the wall in the dressing room today, listening to Ralph reacting to that. Yeah, that's going to be an interesting one. And as Roy Keane said, lepers don't change their spots, says Sebastian. You can change the manager as much as you want, but these players are useless. And Kevin Fitz says, ask proper questions for fuck's sake. Now, that's the sort of questions that we are here for. How do I think we can improve? I do think it probably requires more options in personnel. I get accused of like defending Fred and McTominay. It's not really the case. I'm on record probably hundreds of times talking about I don't think either of them are progressive enough to be Manchester United footballers. I certainly don't think that you can be looking at winning a title with either of those in the squad. They would make excellent squad players, I think. But I do think that both of them still offer you more, especially in the defensive aspect, than what Donny does. And you can disagree with that all you like, but that's not just my opinion. It's clear what Ollie thinks. It's clear what Michael Carrick thinks. It looks like it's what Rangnick thinks. Do I think it's time for Bruno to spend some time on the bench? It could be. I have no idea what is up with Lindelof. It looked like he was holding his chest, so I hope it's nothing serious. Are United players ready for high consume stamina, gegenpressing? I think so. I think so, yeah. I think there's going to be some members who are suited better to it. I still think you're going to see Lingard feature in this team, but it might require him to commit his future. Because if he's going to get off in January, what's the point in bringing him in for a couple of games now? You might as well get somebody else used to it a little bit. Charles says, felt like I was watching an Ollie team again. Favourites were playing awful and weren't being subbed. Or maybe there's a reason that the favourites under two different managers. You not considered that? De Gea was scared he may collapse. Yeah, looked like he was, yeah. We pressed better in the last 10 than the first 80. Yeah, I'd agree with that as well. Maybe that was a tempo thing. I don't know what the reason for that was. I'm just guessing, really. Are we really likely to sign no one in Jan? He could have just been pouring water and he did it. I mean, I quote tweeted that yesterday when I saw it, just saying, fuck. Like, are we really just like, yeah, is that us? No? All right, we just, no? All right, okay, cool. But then it also tempers expectation. Because if he comes out and is like, oh yeah, me, checkbook's going to go bananas next month, then the speculation goes wild. All the questions are, oh, you're going to sign, who are you getting rid of? Whereas he comes out and is like, I think, we need to get rid of some people, to be honest. And he's right. You do need to get rid of some people. United have got so many people. How is Phil Jones still a Manchester United player? If anyone with any sort of fucking functioning brain can figure that one out, please get your answers on a postcard and let me know. I hope Ralph Rangnick's walked in, he's gone, right, yeah, cool, got some video in him. And we've gone, can someone show me some video of Phil Jones? And I'm like, we've got a tape of Phil Jones. A tape. Not a YouTube clip, no. No, it's on tape. That was the last time he was fit and played 3 games in a row. Come on, man. You can't be allowing these people... And that's hopefully somewhere where the ownership are hopefully going to be held to account, and where they've come in and allowed people to just be given contracts willy-nilly, and you find yourselves in these absolutely fucking banana situations like this where Phil Jones ended up getting a contract extension for which he's probably played about 12 fucking matches. Unreal. Absolutely unreal. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up there. Cheers for tuning in. 5 things will be out in the morning. And if you fancy a game where there was loads of goals, Paddock FC actually won 6-1 today, and the highlights will be that for that will be out tomorrow, and we've just got 9 points clear at the top of the league. We might be mint. So if you fancy checking that out, then over on Paddock FC channel tomorrow. But cheers for tuning in. I'll catch you crazy cats in the next one. Laters.